All right, this is gonna be a fun one. We are here for this month's BYOP, and this month's theme is creating a palette all around our favorite Halloween costume. I am very excited for this one. I knew right away what I was gonna pick out, so I'm excited to share my Halloween costume with you. Y'all, I had to go into this scary, it's not really scary, it's just a little like creepy going into a crawl space. I had to go next door to the other side of our duplex, go into the crawl space in the basement to try to find the albums, because this was a way back when. This was a way back when costume, and we're gonna get into that. I have my eyeshadow palette right here, but if we haven't met before, my name is Kelly and I'm a professional hair and makeup artist, and here on my channel I strive to keep beauty real. Real honest, real relatable, and real fun. So if that sounds like something you'd enjoy, don't forget to click subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on future videos. So if you are new to the Shop My Stash BYOP series here, my friend Kara and I decided that we wanted to get more use out of our single shadows, and what better way than to each month create an eyeshadow palette based on some sort of a theme. So the only rule we have here is we use 10 shadows. That is it. Everything else is pretty fly by night. It's always been very fun, and you all have really seemed to enjoy that. I always try to link any creators down below that I know that are hopping in on this for the month, because this is definitely no pressure. Do it when you want. Don't do it if you don't feel like it. I also love seeing non-creators tagging us in pictures of their palettes on Instagram as well. It's always so much fun. So for this month, again, like I said, we decided to go with a Halloween costume theme. I am very excited to share this one with you. So I think what I'm gonna do first is I'm gonna show you the palette and see if you can guess. I will just give a little hint. This is a costume I wore in the 80s. So if you can see here. Now I have to be honest. I don't think I would know from this palette who this costume is based on, but it's a combo of a theme of the character and the character's makeup. And that character is She-Ra. Yes, I am a child of the 80s. Of course I had to do She-Ra. So I am going to show you pictures of my She-Ra costume as we kind of like get into this. So here's the thing. If you grew up in the 80s like I did, you will remember that most of us rocked the plastic apron scary mask costumes. Like, there wasn't, people mostly were not spending big bucks on like actual costumes. So as kids, we were all wearing these like plastic smocks that reminded me a lot of like what you'd painted in kindergarten with these cheapy masks. I have a picture. I actually found a like vintage costume on the internet, so I will put that here. So this is what the She-Ra like branded costume kind of looked like. That is not what I had. And I also love that I found this other picture of like all of these 80s kids in their like same costumes. So this was the vibe. Like most people, at least not the kids that I knew, people weren't getting like actual costumes, you know, like you maybe had a parent that was really great at sewing or something, and maybe, but that was just not the vibe. That was not the vibe in my household. There was no time and there was no money. So that is not what happened. Now, if you're not familiar with who She-Ra is, I just don't even know what to tell you. You are missing out. But if you are familiar with He-Man, you should know who She-Ra is. So She-Ra and He-Man are twin brother and sister, and they were totally like the iconic duo of Saturday morning cartoons, for sure. So I definitely had the She-Ra figurines, all of the things. Like I was super into She-Ra. Now I will share a little bit on her as we get into this. I actually found like a fun little article that I'm gonna link down below as well. So this palette is based on She-Ra and She-Ra's makeup. So let's go ahead and take a little peek at She-Ra, and then we're gonna get into the swatches of all these shadows. I will have all of the shades listed down below as well as usual, and we will do a look. I have a feeling I'm just gonna end up doing one look today. If I have time some other point during the week to get another look out of this, I will. I'm just not sure that I'm gonna have the time. There's a lot going on, y'all. This is going up the same week as the Sephora sale. There's all the things going on, but maybe I will share another look on Instagram closer to Halloween or something. We will have to see. So here's another look at She-Ra. Love her so much. So I actually went hunting and was trying to find pictures of She-Ra and her makeup. And the thing is like she really didn't have a lot of makeup. She wore purple eyeshadow, which I think was just that like iconic shade that like all of the 80s cartoon characters are wearing, and a red lip, right? Like purple eyeshadow and a red lip. I'm just saying. So obviously that is kind of where some of this came from, and the other inspiration you can kind of see from the the pictures of She-Ra. So it's a culmination. It's a culmination of all the things. So we're going to get into this. I will do swatches first and then we'll dive into that look. I'm excited for this one. Again, I'm going to be showing you my She-Ra costume as we get into this and just sharing and going down memory lane with you. Let's get into it. All right, y'all. Are you ready for the Princess of Power palette? That is what I'm calling this. I think it is a good name. She-Ra, Princess of Power. I'm telling you, I was all about that show. Okay, let's get into these swatches. I'm just so excited. I feel like I'm a little bit all over the place, but we're gonna get into the swatches and then I'm gonna show you pictures. I'm gonna show you pictures of Kelly in her She-Ra outfit. And then we're gonna do this look. Right, the first shadow is from Glamshop, and this is the shade White Rabbit. And White Rabbit, this of course represents She-Ra's tunic dress thing, whatever we're calling it. It's like almost like slightly Grecian. It is just a shade that I knew that I needed in here. I'm like, I have to have white, right? I first actually put in a matte white and I was like, I need something with a little more razzle dazzle. And as I had gotten out all of the other shadows, I was like, oh, I only have one possible inner corner shade in here. And I definitely need more than that. So I'm gonna actually zoom you in here just a little bit high. There we go. So that you can see. So White Rabbit is one of the velvets from Glamshop. So it has like a, I would say, somewhat shimmery base and then a lot of micro sparkle over the top. I should have definitely started up higher, my goodness. You'd think this was my first time doing swatches, but hopefully you can see here, you'll probably see it more in the super up close swatches, but White Rabbit definitely has some really nice dimension to it. It actually has like a light pearly pink flip, and then of course that like gold from the gold sparkle inside. So I think that this, you know, really represents the white without it just being like a flat matte white. I think this is more multi-purpose. You could top it, you could use it in inner corner, all sorts of things. So now this next shade, I actually have a purple that is very similar to the purple that She-Ra is wearing on her eyes. I think that I'll just let you know it's Remy, I think it's Remy from Divina. And that one is like a little bit brighter, but you know, definitely in that like 80s vibe purple. I just didn't want to go quite so purple. You know, I wanted to be something that I would actually really wear. And I decided to go with this shade just because honestly, I don't think I've maybe used this once. This is from Dandelions and this is Wraith. And this matte, I think I was like, you know what? I really don't have a lot of purples in my collection. The ones that I do have are either deeper or like most of the ones other than Remy from Divina, most of them are a little bit more grungy. So I was like, this is dusky, but it still definitely rings like as a good purple, like a purple. So it's like a purple. So I thought that this would be a fun shade. And this is definitely something that I would like actually wear. So there we are with Wraith. And this again just gives me another opportunity to wear this. I love this formula. I love the Dandelions Co formula. I've just been so hesitant to buy any more other than what I already have because they are so soft and so powdery. That doesn't bother me to use. It just bothers me because in the palette, it just kind of gets everywhere and it's so messy and it just bugs me aesthetically. So I haven't bought any more since my first purchase and it's not, I wish that they were just not quite so soft. Okay, so then this next shade is Light My World and this is from Sydney Grace. So Light My World is a gold, but it's almost like an old gold. And I feel like this is really representative of all of the accents on She-Ra's costume. Her headdress, her, you know, the gold on her bodysuit, her boots, like it's not like yellow gold, it's more of that like, yeah, like old gold. And I really like this color. Again, I think it's also, you know, gonna be one that is pairable actually with the purple. So I was kind of like thinking ahead and I think that it is very reminiscent of that shade. So really pretty. Okay, so now this next one, this is the first one that I pulled out because I actually thought, you know, for me, She-Ra, I don't think was wearing like shimmery eyeshadow, although I don't know how you'd represent that in a cartoon back in the day. Now you probably can, but like classic cartoon. But this one I was like, oh, this has got some nice like dimension to it. This is going to be the one that I use. I think I've used this in another BYOP. This is Frozen Grape from Glamshop. So this, as you can see here, it's just got a subtle shift to it, and it's definitely like a sheeny satin. Very pretty shade. And so I was like, if there were She-Ra today, I'm pretty sure this is the purple that she would be wearing. So we'll swatch this one right underneath. So this shade also kind of serves double duty because this is like that purple and it's got a little blue and a little pink. So I think that this actually kind of represents Swiftwind, She-Ra's Pegasus. Well, a unicorn, a winged unicorn. So a Pegasus has wings but no horn. But a unicorn has a horn but no wings. Whatever, anyway. Okay, so this next shade is, of course, She-Ra's Cape. I had to put a red in here. I was a little worried. I was like, can I find something that's like slightly off red? And there was just nothing, there was nothing that was working out. So we did it. We went with another Glamshop. I did not realize how much Glamshop I have in here. So this is Nie Swiety. I'm probably totally butchering that name. So this is a very bright, I think that this is a very good cartoon red, you know, like, I think maybe She-Ra's Cape was just a little bit darker than this, but it's a good representation. I tell you what, Glamshop, again, Glamshop mattes are pretty darn like powdery, but they are really nice. You can build them up pretty well. So far, we've got purple, we've got red, we've got gold. I feel like this is definitely giving some 80s vibes here. Okay, this next shade and this big honkin' pan, this is a highlighter from Pretties for Your Face, but you can actually get these highlighters in the smaller pans too if you do want to have them just as a shadow. This is Fairy Frost. This just goes with the vibe. It goes with the magical Princess of Power vibes. I also thought, of course, it would make for a really great inner corner. I mean, look at that. That is so pretty. You might not be able to see it until we get up really close, but it's lovely. I mean, it's shifty in a very subtle, nice way. I'm going to load up a finger swatch here so that you can kind of see that. Oh, sorry. I've got so much hair color staining on my nails. It's disgusting. Sorry. Yeah, that's really bad. I'm keeping beauty real here. When you make people beautiful, it gets a little real. That's all I'm going to say. Okay. So now this next one. Now I chose this because I felt like it also sort of emulated that like golden tone of She-Ra's costume. Outfit. I guess she's not wearing the costume. I wore the costume. But I just needed some solid, good, like grounding mattes. And this one's a little bit warm. This is Zesty. I've definitely used this one before. This is another Dandelions matte. This is just that nice golden kind of mustardy shade. I love a good mustard. So I just think that this is going to balance this out. And if I were to use this as a palette with some of, you know, like the red and some of the other shades that we're about to see here, I would need something that can kind of like ground it like this. So this is a really nice one. Very, very good. I also feel like this is sort of like the color of He-Man's hair. Yeah, you know, cartoon character hair. Okay, so then again, another just really great grounding color. This is from Makeup Geek. This is the shade Desert Sands. This one is a little bit lighter and a little less mustardy. So I think that this can actually be used to sort of ground some of the purple in the looks if you wanted, you know, a neutral in with the purples, but you didn't want to pair it with something that's more yellowy like Zesty. This is just a good option. Oh my gosh. Two more. I can make it. I can make it on my arm here. Wow. Next to Zesty, Desert Sand looks almost like pinky beigey. That's crazy. Okay. I swear this is going to be a cohesive palette. All right. Then next, I had to pick out a color that represented all of She-Ra's beautiful hair. The thing is I feel like cartoon characters' blonde hair was never blonde. It was like yellow. You had to have yellow, yellow. And so I felt like She-Ra's hair was definitely really yellow and I wanted to emulate that. So we have another Glamshop shade and this is Yellow Flare. It's so funny because I did pull out every single one of my indie, you know, single shadows. And it seems like I've got a lot of Glamshop and a lot of Dandelions in here, which is just so interesting. So this one is just, it is the most yellow I have. I also think that, I believe it's Lemonade from Sydney Grace would be a good option for this. I almost pulled that one out, but this one, I don't know, there's just some dimension and texture to this. It's got some shimmer to it, and that just makes me think of She-Ra. Ooh, Yeah, that is definitely She-Ra hair right there. I love that. Okay, this last shade is, again, just one that really helps balance out the palette. But I also, when I was looking at She-Ra's makeup up close, it did look like she had like a little bit of like smudgy liner. And so I was like, oh, okay, like I'm gonna use this for that. And this is Pecan Pie from Sydney Grace. Now this shade is a purple plummy leaning brown, and obviously it's very, very deep, so I just thought that this would be a really good option to use as a little bit of a liner. You could use it to deepen up any of these shades. I think even though it does lean a little bit into kind of like chocolate raspberry plum, this is one that would actually still work with the yellows and the warmer shades as well. I think once you blended it out. Yeah, see, so it's just like this almost like grayed out plummy brown. Whoa, so intense. I think that this was a shade in maybe my first mystery bag I ever got. So we have the Princess of Power palette. Okay, I'm gonna give you an up close swatch, and then I'm gonna show you my costume for She-Ra, and I'll give you all of the background on it and we'll do a look. Right, here we have our palette. Again, this first one is White Rabbit from Glamshop. Then this second shade is Wraith from Dandelion's Co. The third one is Light My World from Sydney Grace. We have Frozen Grape from Glamshop Nie Swiety from Glamshop. This one here is Fairy Frost from Pretties for Your Face. We also have Zesty from Dandelion's Co. Desert Sands from Makeup Geek. This one is Yellow Flare from Glamshop, and then Pecan Pie from Sydney Grace. Here also, I feel like you can see a little bit of the shift of a couple of those shades. These are pretty straightforward, nothing crazy in duochrome, but I think that, you know, that just kind of like lends some honor to that lovely 80s cartoon magic. All right, so as I am going to wipe off all of these swatches that I just did, I'm going to show you the little video that I took of me getting into my albums, and then we can do the pictures. So without further ado, here is little Kelly. So this is October of 1986, and I was born in September of 81, so I will have just turned 5. So clearly I look nothing like She-Ra. I look nothing like She-Ra at all. And that's okay. So I'm gonna have these pictures up here, but you know, like I said, I mean, there was not like going out and buying Halloween costumes. Like, I remember for the longest time, I re-wore my bride's or like flower girl dress from my aunt's wedding. I wore it as like a princess. I wore it as a fairy. I, you know, oftentimes just grabbed things around the house and just threw them into costumes. The thing that I remember about this costume, I remember having so much fun with my mom picking this out, and it's honestly one of my fondest childhood memories. And I don't really have a lot of childhood memories in general, but this is one of the positive ones that stands out. And so I just remember her kind of like helping me trying to figure this out. I don't even know what is on my head here. I was like, is this a Burger King hat? Did we make this out of tinfoil? Like, whatever that is, does it have a bow on it? I don't know what's going on here. It doesn't even fit. I can't even see. But I think it's really hilarious that underneath this outfit, I am wearing, you know, I've got a long sleeved outfit, I've got white tights, and I've got shorts on because, you know, October, well, it's funny because now living in Wisconsin, October in Arizona would have been like nothing, but it was chilly, right? It was chilly for what we thought. So kids went out with like all the things on underneath their costumes, right? But I think it's funny that I've got some purple satin shorts here that go with She-Ra's eyeshadow. That was probably not planned at all, but it is a match. I am just like, what is this? What is... I've got a sheer tunic. I've got a sheer button down top that was obviously my mother's, like, I think. Like, it looks rolled up. I don't even know. I don't even know what was going on here. But this is my costume, and I just remember having a lot of fun picking that out with my mom. I'm going to tell you right now, as we walked up to people's houses and this little kid comes up wearing this, like, oversized pink top and what looks to be like a homemade Burger King crown, also a thing that I don't think that you can get anymore. So those of you who were with me in the Burger King crown days, you'll know. And a sword. They're like, Are you a gypsy, a battle gypsy? I don't know what's going on. I don't know. But anyway, so I had a lot of fun with that. And thank you, Mom, if you ever happen to watch this, for helping me put that costume together. Okay, so now we're going to do an eyeshadow look. So I do think I have to honor She-Ra and do something with some purples. I am going to make this like a little bit more modern. I'm not just going to do one swath of purple all over the eye. We're going to kind of make it a little bit more modern, but sort of give some honor to the iconic She-Ra. Okay, so we're just going to get started. We're going to throw on a purple matte and see where we end up. So I am going to go through with that Wraith shade first. So if you aren't really familiar with She-Ra, like I said, I mean, I think that most of us 80s kids either watched She-Ra or He-Man. I definitely watched both. And it was just the show. And I found this really cool article. Let me see. I want to pull it up. I will actually have it linked down below. This article came out before, evidently, Netflix did like a reboot of She-Ra. It looks very different. I haven't watched any of it. They actually all look kind of like elfish. Is it elven or elfish? Somebody tell me down below. So anyway, the article is 8 reasons 80s She-Ra was a feminist badass and you should be hyped for her Netflix series. So I do have to agree. I think that, you know, other than Wonder Woman, I feel like She-Ra was the first like really strong female character that I remember seeing. I grew up in an age where it was like Disney princesses who needed to be rescued by a prince. I feel like most female characters were very much playing the like damsel in distress. And I think that She-Ra was definitely one of those first characters that I saw that was like super strong, you know, like had honor and was brave and all of that. And I also have to say that I feel like even in the show, you know, She-Ra and He-Man, you end up finding out that they are like twin brother and sister. And I think that it wasn't even like, oh, He-Man is still stronger than She-Ra. It was like they both were pretty equal, you know? I mean, I think that they both had their talents and everything, but like, it's not like, you know, He-Man was always coming to She-Ra's rescue. And so I have to give the writers and the creators a lot of credit for that. So I will leave the article linked down below because it is really cool because, you know, it's just like some of the stuff that they pointed out. I was like, yeah, that was pretty forward thinking for its time, you know? And I don't know, I don't think that my parents honestly paid that much attention to the content that I was watching that they would have, you know, recognized that or really even cared. I mean, I tell you what, I was watching like scary movies at a pretty young age. My mom was always into like sci-fi and I got into that and I mean, it's fine. I'm still into all that today. I'm just saying like, you know, it was a little different. I don't think that parents censored their children from content quite as much as they do now. So I'm obviously doing this quite blown out. She-Ra had more of a cut crease thing going on, but that just doesn't work for my eye shape. Like it's not gonna be me. So we've got that Wraith down. I think that looks really good, just kind of blown out. I could always deepen it if I need to, but I might actually end up using pecan pie for that. So now what I'm gonna do, I'm actually going to take the Glam Glue from Glamshop and I'm gonna put that down and then we'll put frozen grape over the top. It's been a while since I have used a glitter glue. I'm hoping that this just intensifies the frozen grape just a little bit more. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna like tap this on the top. Ooh yeah, this is fun. It's been a while actually since I've used a glitter glue. Did you see it last night? I was on the Divina Cosmetics live. Deandra was sharing the new products that are going to be launching on Black Friday, the brush set and the eye bases. And she was teasing that there's going to be one more thing that she hasn't announced yet. It'll be announced closer to Black Friday. But oh, okay, yeah. Now I have to say, putting a glitter glue down under this velvet has really helped make it pop. But I like that it's like, it's shifty, but it's not like overly done. It's definitely like a little bit more updated version of She-Ra's matte look. So now I'm gonna do the same on the other side and then we'll keep going. I really like that a lot. Choosing to put the rest of my makeup on first and then doing this look was very, very risky. It was very risky, but I'm being very careful. So now I think to honor She-Ra a little bit, I'm not gonna do too much under the lash line. I am gonna take that Desert Sands from Makeup Geek and I'm just gonna run that underneath first so that I have a little something going on. I just always like to have a little bit of something underneath my lash line. I think it just sort of like, honestly, it helps open up my eye shape if it's not super dark. And it also just helps camouflage any fine lines. You know, if you use a matte, it just sort of like softens everything. So I'm taking a little bit of Pecan Pie on a tiny little liner brush, and I am gonna wet this. And we're gonna use this as a liner just along like the outer little bit of my lash line. I'm not gonna do a wing or anything. I'm just trying to like intensify really close to the lash line. I like that so much that I did take a little bit on my lower lash line. And because my eye shape is just like slightly downturned, I always, if I'm gonna like extend it at all, it's not necessarily like a wing, it's a little flick. So I just try to like flick it up just to sort of like give my, it's like a push-up bra for my eyes. Wow, that sounds bad. All right, we're gonna do the same on the other side. Okay, and as usual, one got a little bit bigger. It's still a baby wing. It's still a baby wing, but it's a little bit more than a flick. So I'm going to take that brush that I had Desert Sands on, and right where I took that Pecan Pie shade, I'm just going to dust it out on the bottom. I don't want to have, I mean, I know we're talking 80s here, but I don't want to have that like harsh under eye eyeliner line. So I'm just kind of like blending that to soften it just a little bit. Now, before I go and put on mascara, we're gonna do an inner corner. Of course, I'm gonna use Faerie Fire. That's that beautiful kind of like iridescent purple from Pretties for Your Face. Tell you what, speaking of face, I think it's probably that very first matte I used, the Dandelions one. I have that all over my face. It's kind of crazy. You might not be able to see it, but if it looks like my skin's just a little like blotchy, it's probably the dark purple. Okay, so I'm gonna use this as my inner corner, and then we're also gonna use it as a highlight today because I think that that'll be super fun. Okay, we're gonna take a little bit of that same color very lightly on a highlight brush. Oh, okay. Oh, that's so pretty though. Holy smokes. I mean, this is not my everyday vibe anymore. Oh geez, we're gonna blend and blend and blend. So I have to say, oh my gosh, look at that. This is still available, by the way, and you can use my code KEEPBEAUTYREAL to save 20%. Pretties for Your Face has sales all the time, and I love that the creator codes stack. So I will make sure, by the way, if I have any other creator codes that go with anything, I'll make sure to have those listed too. I always usually try to put them by the products. Okay, feeling glowy. Wow, that looks really pretty. Y'all, okay, how much is this highlight? Hold on, I gotta go look. Okay, I should have known, first of all, that this is one of Lee's creations. So Lee is Best Case Beauty on Instagram, and they just kill it with all of their pics with Pretties for Your Face. Okay, so this shade in an eyeshadow pan, a regular 26mm, would be $5. Now, I wish I knew what size this is. I really wish I knew. But if you get a 36mm, that would be $11. All right, here we are with the finished eye look. I really like this. And this is so pretty. So I did just look, by the way. Now, I'm not sure how long Meg is going to be doing the sale, but Pretties for Your Face right now is doing 30% off, and I think it's off of the entire site. Off of the entire site, yes, off of your entire order, and free shipping on $50 or more, and you can stack codes. So like I said, you can use mine, KEEPBEAUTYREAL. I'm pretty sure that Lee's is Best Case Beauty. So I just want to make sure to give them props since this is so pretty. They also have a new shade, Pumpkin Pixie, that I want to pick up. I might be placing another order. I just got one in the mail. Okay, so like I said, you can really find some great hidden gems within Pretties for Your Face. So I know that Adora, also known as Shira, she wore red lipstick. I'm not going with red lipstick and purple eyes today, but what I thought I would do is pull out a shade that is along the same depth. You know, Shira's lipstick is more of like a brick red, but I thought that this would be really pretty. This is Fashion from Merit, and I thought that we could pop this on and see what we think. It's like a plum with just like a little bit of red, or like a berry with a little bit of red. Oh yeah. I just pulled this out in my Shop My Stash, by the way. By the way, I do have a fall Shop My Stash coming out. So, this kind of gives those vibes a little bit. It's definitely 80s enough. I feel like we're rocking those 80s vibes right now. What do you guys think? I mean, other than the highlight. People weren't doing that. Really, really cute. I had a lot of fun with this. This also is giving me Jessica Rabbit vibes, like updated Jessica Rabbit vibes, which is super funny because my makeup play date, I felt like that gave me updated Jessica Rabbit vibes. It's evidently a thing. We're going with it. It's a thing of the season. All right, I'm gonna zoom you guys out and we can talk a little bit more about this palette, and I'm gonna share with you next month's theme. All right, lovelies, thank you for joining me for this Princess of Power hour. I have to say, I do think that there are a lot of fun looks that you could do within this palette. I mean, obviously you've got some warm, spicy looks here. You could even pair that like fun sort of like old gold with the purples. I think that that could be really pretty. I just wanted to do this one to give a little bit of homage to She-Ra herself. I cannot wait to see the other videos. I know that Kara's doing this one for sure. I'm not quite sure who else is doing one. Locke might be doing it, but I cannot remember. But regardless, I will have all of the creators who I do know linked down below, and then I will follow up and add them if I find any. If you want to share a fun little palette, if you're not a creator and you just want to share a palette based on a costume that you've loved getting to wear at some point in time, please don't forget to tag either Kara or myself. I am KEEPBEAUTYREAL on Instagram, and she is Beauty and the Frizz. All right, lovelies, that is going to be today's BYOP. Now, if you want to know for next month, Kara and I talked about doing a palette of our most used singles. Now, that might sound like a favorites, but I really think that standbys can be shades that you use a lot, but that maybe aren't in like your top 10, right? Like it's just the ones that you know that are always going to be true to you. You're not going to have to worry. I think that could be a good... So I do think that it's very different than like a set of favorites. All right, this has been a fun trip down memory lane. I hope you enjoyed this one. If you did, please don't forget to give it a like. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't so that you get to see future BYOPs and all of the other content that I have planned. But as always, thank you so much for taking some time out of your day to spend it with me. It really means so much, and I will see you really soon.